Well, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to another WID Talk. And WID is an organization of Westmont Institute of Tourism and Hospitality. We are as a partnership between the Westmont Hospitality Group and Nova SBE. I think, and we have the pleasure to welcome today a very special group of entrepreneurs, and I hope that they inspire our students and our community that is following us and will follow us afterwards on the social networks. So with no further delay, I would give the floor to Marta Souza Pires from Westmont Institute also. She will present our speakers for today. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. So we are very happy to have here Manuel Rito and Federico Louro from Selina Hotels. They will be talking about Selina activities now in terms of marketing. I will present them. So Federico is graduated from hotel management from Estoril School, and he worked in several hotel chains nationally and internationally, and is now the sales and the marketing manager for Selina Hotels in Portugal. Manuel Rito is graduated from Católica Management School. He worked as a brand manager at NOS, also in an advertising company, and also at Sonai at the e-commerce department. Currently, he's the global marketing and sales project manager for Selina Hotels. I think I did it right. So welcome, and thank you very much for your availability now. And please, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Hello to everyone. It was a really good presentation. Also, we were joking with Mada because Mada works with us at Selina, so she's gonna see the passion again of in fact this company and these brands. So with no further notice, I'm just gonna pass to the presentation. I try to make it the most visual possible so we can, I think, drive into what is the brands, and I think most important is to understand how in these times of crisis we need to innovate, we need to be bolder, and we need to understand how can we find solution in such dark, I don't want to say it's such dark times for hospitality, but in such difficult times at the moment for the hospitality industry. So with no further notice, I'm gonna straight away pass it to explain what is Selina. And I think Selina can be described with a lot of words, and is the words that represents the DNA of our brands regarding stay, meeting, learning, connecting. I think it comes to the sense, and that's why Selina exists, to connect people, to connect local people with global travelers. And from that connection can derivate a lot of good things, tolerance, friendship. So there's this sense of curiosity and this connection that we want to make in the world. And in fact, it all represents that our mission is inspire meaningful connections through the world, through hospitality. And that's why we use hospitality for. So as I told, we usually don't say that we are a hospitality group. We say it as a vision as a hospitality platform, because in fact, we connect those people. So that's why we say it as a platform, okay, between travelers, workers, creators. So it's a mix between all of them. And where in every Selina that you are, I don't know if any of you have been or in Portugal or in Panama or in Colombia, you have this sense of connection, you have this sense of meeting people, and the hospitality is the perfect place for that to happen. This is our ecosystem. So we don't only, in every hotel, we don't only sell accommodation, we sell much more than that. One thing that is unique in our group is that we have this business model of travel and work, because we have co-work in most of our Selinas, but we also have wellness, we also have retail, and we consider here the music arts as the content. So all of our Selinas, as a guest experience value, is the content that we create every day in every Selina. At the moment, we are already present in more than 14 countries. It's more than 70 locations. That comes from urban to remote to the middle of the jungle. Yes, we have some locations in Ecuador that are exactly in the middle of the jungle, and beach scenes and beautiful beach scenes all across the globe. Our community, let's call it, I would say the biggest segment public audience will be the digital nomads, but I would consider all of this as the creatives, the bold people targeting between the 25 and 45 years old, that we say that they continue to be the forever 21, the eagerness to discover, the eagerness to travel, always, I think, in the end, ADN of our consumers. One thing that then we can discuss further is, in fact, that this customer base is evolving, it's changing now. So we do not see so many young people, we see even older people. So there has been a change on this customer database, that we started with this, but we are seeing a completely difference from the years to come. We have already 5 years. We started in Panama, and we're already seeing a difference on our core public. Selina Portugal, it's really young. It has 2 years. We started in Porto. It was the first Selina in Europe. Okay, they were in Latam, and they opened in Europe the first in Porto. Then we opened six hotels till now. So Porto, Lisbon, Ericeira, Mil-Fontes, Peniche, and Jerez. And this is some of the things that we are proud of. We are proud of to be placed as one of the best hospitality groups in the Marketeer Awards, nominated for the first year. To have Levis with us working, that Frederico will explain, and how we can work with brands and evolve Selina and amplify our brand using other brands to do it. And then the press coverage that we've been building, the relationship with journalists, that is really important. The media, to use it as earned media, that you in fact earn to gain your position on the market. This is where we are. Can we quickly pass? And then there's three things that I think that makes Selina different. It's an open hospitality. It's not a closed hospitality. Saying that everything we do, of course, before COVID, we do it for the community. So we are obliged to have content, programming that enables to people from Porto, from Lisbon, to enter to the hotel. The hotel needs to be open. Then the programming and experience. So all the content we create, we are obliged also to have everyday events, and events that can be local, that can be DJs, or even can be something like poetry nights or fado nights. So there's a lot happening in every Selina. And then I think the biggest USCP, so the unique selling point, that is in fact the work and travel that we can provide to our guests, that probably most, and I can tell 90% of our competitors cannot give, because they don't have co-works included on their hospitality units. I will pass now to Fred. So this was more or less for you to understand what is Selina. Now we wanted to understand how we grow in terms of communication and visibility, and using these free case studies, that Fred can explain a bit more how we see as evolve through different brands.
So passing to me now, right, Manel? Regarding, those are only 3 brands that we are working currently right now. So we have Levi's, and Levi's has, of course, everything that is showroom, everything that is PR in Levi's Portugal is actually located in our location in Secret Garden. The vision here was to create a positioning. Of course, Secret Garden, it's located in Lisbon, and of course, fashion, cosmopolitan lifestyle is already attached to Lisbon. And having Levi's was almost a statement, meaning that every single staff member in our location wears the uniform Levi's as a positioning of our brand and Levi's brand as well. We work with several brands of music festivals. One of them is in Chuvada, but we work as well. We wanted to work, but because of the COVID, it never happened, but it will happen in 2021. We work with the main music festivals in Portugal as well. So Nós Alive, we work as well with Rock in Rio, and through a platform called Fast Ticket. And we started as well this year working with Lisbon Fashion Week, Moda Lisboa. And we started as well by renting our palace. They did the video teaser there. We did as well a small exposition of their younger designers that they call Sangue Novo. They were exposing their garments and all the new designs in our location. But as I told you before, we are working with several other brands. We are going to start to work with NGOs as well. Abraço is one of our new partners. We work as well with condoms brands like Durex. We are going to work as well with cinema festivals as well. We have a program with Doc Lisboa where we give a Selina Awards to artists, for example. So all this kind of positioning that our brand Selina tries to do with brands, it's always a co-brand kind of partnership. So of course we want to have the know-how for each one of the brands, and as well share some knowledge between Selina and share as well some knowledge between the brand. And of course, one thing that is very important for us, it's a brand, a Selina brand, a Selina co-brand partnership is never a Selina co-branded partnership, is as well a hub of brands. So meaning that we try to connect each brand to each other to create a different project, to create, of course, with Selina. You can pass to another slide.
Yeah.
Regarding the way we respond to the crisis in March, it was very stressful, and I think even Matt and Manel can tell how stressful it was. The good thing about working for such a big small company, it was a flexibility, meaning that we didn't need to pass through a huge org chart to make decisions, which is good and sometimes is bad, but in this case it was very good. We managed very well the crisis. We started to do rental packaging, so the long-term stays that everyone regarding our comp set, and not even in our comp set is doing currently right now. We were doing since March, and we have this action, to be fair, 1 week before the COVID strikes. So it was a very fast response to the current market. We are still doing long-term stays. We will explain a little bit after what we are doing with the long-term stays. The long-term stays now, they have a different name. It's not only, and it's not a normal long-term stay. We still have the product, but it's a very bland product. What we offer now is something called subscription model that Manel will present to you, and afterwards we can speak a little bit more about the subscription model.
Yeah. Let me put this.
Regarding regarding the crisis, of course, as I don't know if did they start as well studying revenue management? Did you ever heard about no, Marta?
No, they will have the course next semester.
Next semester.
Okay.
Amazing.
So I'm not going to explain a lot about what is revenue management, but as you guys can imagine, having long stays in our properties, of course, for a crisis, and of course to reach occupancy KPIs, it's important because people are staying for 30 days in our property. Regarding something that we call RevPAR, that you will learn for sure in revenue management, it's not ideal, meaning that the ADR, which is the average daily rate, it will be completely affected. As you can imagine, it's better and it's more profitable for us as a hotel to sell its short terms as any kind of accommodation rental. And that's why after the big crisis of March, we started as well to try to capture a different kind of market, people that were stuck at home. They were literally living at home for 3 months. They wanted to leave their home. So we try as well to capture that market. But one of the action that we did actually was not only create the product on social media, because we did a lot of this on Facebook Marketplace. It looks primary, but it was essentially our main platform, and it was an amazing platform to start with. But afterwards, of course, we involved to capture embassies. We contact the airports. Then we started as well to connect with Spot a Home, Uniplaces. So all those platforms that provide us with the long terms essentially.
It was much more it was interesting because it was a surviving model, because we didn't close. So a lot of hotels closed. We kept these solutions, kept us alive. Of course, they are not the solution in the long term. The evolution of this product that we'll explain later, I think, will be the evolution. And we have, Fred, another solution that we did after that you can explain what we did after the confinement.
Exactly. So this was exactly the solution that we find out after the first huge quarantine that we were stuck at home for more than 3 months. Of course, we wanted to capitalize a different kind of market. So trying to put those people that weren't in Lisbon, for example, to start to go to our remote locations, for example, for Mil Fontes, it was key for our success during the summer. And of course, we started very slow. Of course, people were still scared. We didn't have the clean and safe stamp yet. So and that was a staple for us to have that stamp, because people were very eager to travel only if the hotels were compliant with the DGS regulations. So we started to try to capitalize the market in a different way after the long-term stays. And of course, we started very slow with weekly stays. And of course, then we started to do the normal procedure of revenue management and managing as well OTAs, and managing as well our direct campaigns through social media and the other omni channels.
I think here, and what was interesting is you need to understand the market. You need to understand that at that moment there were no tourists. So what is your who can you tackle? Who is going to be your core audience? I think that's the question. We saw that after the confining, everyone and all of you wanted to go far away. If you have houses in Alentejo, if you have houses in Algarve, you said, okay, I want to work out. So what we created was simple: was a fixed price for a weekly stay in Fontes Originais, where you could have co-work included. And this was, in fact, a really successful product with high demand because, in fact, that's what people want. So we were not tackling to the short stays because there were no short stays at the moment. Don't forget the country was closed, but there was a domestic market that was still not able to travel. So this was in May and June. Okay. So that's something we did for the transition then for the summer. That was it came out to be in a way successful.
And even with the whole process, I think even all the hoteliers across Portugal, we never knew how to work properly with domestic market. And I think this year everyone learned, the ones that survived, of course, but everyone this year learned how to work with the domestic market because we never rely a lot on domestic market. It was always regarding the international market. And one thing that bothers me a lot is Tourism Portugal likes to communicate our destination of Portugal as a summer destination, and then during the winter time, it's actually we are stuck. And of course, I think this year everyone that runs hotels, we start as well from the start, from the beginning, and we start to, of course, to tackle more the domestic market. And I believe that the hotels that survive were the ones that actually knew how to work with the domestic market.
So now we're looking at the past. So now it's time to look at the future. We believe probably I will explain and Fred will explain what is about the flexible living. Something that we are working. Got to the market 2 products 2 months ago. Call it the Selina Co-Live and the Nomad Passport. I will present to you a short video. So this is our online campaign about it, just to put everyone happy and to desire to travel. It's 50 seconds, and then we will present quickly these 2 products. So I will introduce then this amazing vision of the future. I hope no one is crying at the moment. Travel again. So I'll pass to Fred to explain this.
I am a little bit.
I think everyone is like, can I book a ticket now, please? Fred, you can.
Even I'm crying. I just want to go to Colombia or some place that is warmer. But essentially, it's flexible living, which is the future of Selina, and we believe as well is a future for hospitality. It's the evolution that we saw for the long-term stays for something that we call the nomads, Selina Passport, and as well something that I baptized myself in Portugal for commercial reasons. We have as well something called the nomad co-living, which is more attractive than just saying co-living because it's not a new product essentially. And this is what we did after the long-term stays. We saw, of course, that we receive a huge amount of demand regarding long-term stays. And then, of course, we take the step forward and we idealize what is going to be the perfect product for our main target, which is digital nomads. And we, of course, we did an amazing marketing research. And we, of course, saw that our main goal, our main segment, digital nomads, they travel across the world. And even in Portugal, what it's actually did in Portugal, I don't know if you know, but Portugal is actually the #1 hub across the globe now. It was Bali, now it's Lisbon, for example, is the huge hub for remote workers and even for co-living. That's why there's a huge investment on co-workers. There's a huge investment as well for companies to invest now in co-livings as well, because Lisbon, we are the biggest hub for remote workers from across the globe. So it was very amusing to see that we have this big community, but it was surprised to see that people in Portugal were actually being only introduced to remote work after the pandemic. It was something completely new for the industry, but we were receiving those people for at least 2 years. And this is the future. The future is to have those two type of products, and I can explain you more a little bit more, very
That's the
very
one
high
that.
end. Exactly. So we have the Nomad Passport, which is essentially a subscription model where people pay a fee, let's say 360 euros, and that fee it's flexible. So people will hold the credits through Selina, and they can use that credit until the credit actually is finished. So meaning that now I'm in Colombia, I go back home and I want to go to Mexico, and I can have this flexibility of going to Colombia, going home, and then go to Mexico. So it's essentially a subscription model where people hold the credit with the company, and then they can use, of course, that credit to every single property across the globe.
What you do is you tend to buy a bucket of nights. So what you do is you pay 30 nights, and then you distribute them wherever you want. So if you want to go 10 days to Cusco in Peru, or you want to go to Cartagena, you can divide your nights as you want. And this comes of there's something that is really important here is you don't know where you're going to travel, right? So that's the question that we all want to know. It's the $1 million question. But you need to survive. You need to money to come in. You have the treasure. You have anything. So this comes on the moment that people don't know where they're going to travel, but lets them anticipate their buying and make them feel safe that they will be able to use it on the future. And that's, I think, where Nomad Passport. But of course, the subscription model comes where a time where you know that the subscription business model is growing, and it makes totally sense mixing the subscription, sorry. It's difficult to say that. The subscription with, in fact, what the industry needs. In fact, it's money, and the traveler needs to be safe, and to what he will buy, they know that he will be able to use it. And then
And then it's a co-living, which essentially the same benefits. And I forgot to mention the benefits. So the benefit is free co-work, free wellness. People, of course, they will have the same kind of flexibility, but not the kind of same of flexibility, meaning that people, when they buy this kind of products, they will be stick with 30 days, and they need to use those 30 days in the row. So they don't hold the credit, they don't hold the tokens. Let's call it tokens. So they cannot go, for example, home and then go back to Selina again. But they actually, what they can do, and this is something that we are doing in Portugal and incentivize people to do, is exactly explore Portugal almost like a small interrail where people can explore Portugal from north to south, and they can pass through not all our locations, but at least 3. But to be fair with you, I'm allowing people to go for 6 locations. But according to our global SOP and product, this product only allows people to go and visit 3 locations, not across the globe, because it doesn't make sense for them to be in Portugal and then go to Colombia with a co-living. But if they are in the same country, for example, and if you guys want to go to Mexico and you want to explore different parts of Mexico, this is an amazing product to be introduced of.
And just ending to discussion, I think, what is the future of hospitality? We divided between 3. The first one is we call pleasure. So we know with the remote work and understanding, all of us, that a lot of meetings that we do outside of the country, meetings we usually have, the business traveler, as we know, probably will reduce, and we'll give to a new segment that we call the pleasure. So it's a mixture between business and leisure. So knowing that now you can, or the companies, I don't know, but I believe that the companies will give a mixture between office and remote work. You will be able to travel and work at the same time, which means that for hospitalities, for example, long-term stays, whether it's 1 week, whether it's 2 weeks, will benefit because people want to stay more, because it's a place they need to work and they need to explore. So only 3 days is not enough. Okay. The second one is, in fact, the nomad living exploring, and it comes from this remote work. So if, for example, I go to Mexico for 1 month because my company allows me to work there, I want flexibility. So I want to be able to easy stay 5 days in Mexico City and 5 days in Oaxaca and 5 days in Tulum. So I need that flexibility. And what it comes with this increase of the remote work is that I want to explore everywhere I want to go with easy access and with easy explore. And then the third one, I think, is the mixture between the online and offline experience, taking into account, for example, with the safety measures, we already do the check-in automatically through a QR code. There's a project from Selina, Fred knows it, to assure that usually we have these bracelets. So in every Selina you enter, they give you a bracelet. It doesn't have nothing, it's just memorabilia. But in the future, it will be able to pay everything. So you'll be able to pay whatever you need inside the whole property. It also makes safe. It's more safer. It's safer than you have to pick the money. So I think that there will be a combination between the online and offline experience, even when you are inside the hospitality. And I really believe that can be the really the future of hospitality. I don't know, Fred, if you want to. This is the almost the end. So if you want to add something to this future that we all are eager to come.
No, we have. I think we have a bright future. Sweden has a bright future in front. We are investing currently a lot on new softwares, new technology. Of course, everything, every single company, and ours is not exception. We did, of course, a different kind of approach to the new reality, and of course, we started to, of course, to be more tackle to the priorities. And of course, our priority right now is to invest more on new technologies, technology that actually makes sense to our target market. So having cashless payments, um, having even internal softwares that will facilitate our job. It's our vision now. We invest a lot on product alignment this year as well. So we introduced this year our grabs and goes. We have amazing grabs and goes in our locations in Jerez. Jerez was the pioneer. We were one of the first locations to receive the actual asset to our property. And of course, we are trying to explore different things inside our properties and making new brands more regarding F&B. Having Selina, now we are going to have arrived the other day Selina brand merchandising, where we can, of course, not just to, it's not a simple souvenir, because we don't want to offer the awful souvenir. What we actually want to offer is a proper garment of retail. So we are involving it's not only product alignment, but as well we are investing in putting a lot of effort on technology, and of course as well with direct bookings as well. We are pushing, I think Manel can speak about that, but we are pushing now more than ever our website to drive more people to direct to booking direct with us, and of course fight the intermediation that it's the nightmare of a lot of hoteliers.
Yeah, it's true. And that's it. Let me, and then stop sharing.
Thank you very much. I think now it's time for
Thank you.
Q&A, and we have one question already in our chat. Pilar asks, all properties belong to you?
So that's something that we didn't put on our presentation because it's a boring subject, and I don't know if you guys know, but in hotels you have different agreements when you open a hotel. We have the franchising agreement, we have management agreements, you have other agreements, but those are the main ones, the ones that the global hotel chains they work usually. Marriott, which is Starwoods, and Hilton, they work a lot with franchising or management agreements. The way we Selina work with something that we call the leasing agreement, meaning that what we do, we rely on investors that will buy the property for us, and essentially when they buy the property, the asset is there. So we don't build anything from scratch. The asset is there. What we do, we transform the property to the Selina way. And this is the way we work. So of course, we close the deal with the investor. So the investor buys the property, and then we close the deal of leasing, where we promise to our investor to pay for X years, X amount of rent.
Yeah. Okay. So all our properties, in fact, so there's no franchising model. All our properties are on
a leasing agreement.
Yeah, leasing agreement.
Okay. Before going back to questions, and probably as I'm the oldest one around the table, so I can have because I was hearing you with your offer of allowing people to use multiple of properties, so I can buy X nights in Selena properties in different.
Sergio, let's do the reservation now.
But, no, but that remind me actually. That remind me the beginning of my journey in tourism, where I was chasing, obviously, chasing the and doing inspections to timeshare. But basically, the concept is more or less the same. I can buy a pack, or you adapt. It's not the same. You adapted the model that allows me to buy a certain time in a certain property. So it allows me, gives me flexibility of picking what I want and being loyal to the brand. Basically, that was my point of.
One thing, Sergio, before this meeting, what I'm closing now, we have the Black Friday coming, the most exciting moment for years. But one thing, so what we are doing now, and we created, it's already live from 1 hour ago on the website, is we created gift cards of nights. So now I can offer to Federico 50 nights in a dorm, so he can distribute wherever he wants. So if you want to stay 10 nights in a dorm in Mexico City, then 10 nights, and then 10 nights at this, he can do it. So we're going to see. So it's a first test. We never test out. We don't know if it's going to be successful, but what we're trying to do is in fact see, because as you know, Sergio, we need to anticipate the consumer decision, and we need to, of course, to have the treasury, so the cash on it. So this can be a good solution to try to have that, and of course offer the consumer the flexibility that he needs.
Okay.
I think we have here one question.
Yeah, we have another one from José Luis.
Yeah, we have one more question.
Okay, one time that COVID effects go out, maybe in the next summer, being optimistic, have you think about developing your own music festival in order to expand the brand Selina lifestyle?
No, that's a great question. First of all, we have our own music festival, not in Portugal, but in South America. We have something called it's called SIMS, right? Yeah, it's called SIMS.
It's an international music summit.
Exactly. It's not available in Portugal. We wish to have that budget. Currently, we don't have that budget because, as you can imagine, putting effort to develop a music festival, it's quite expensive. But we have actually a music festival in South America called SIMS. The funny thing was, of course, we canceled SIMS as we knew from 2019, and what the brand did was we create the SIMS Online, which was in our social media platforms, streaming every single day live music from different DJs, from international, very well-known DJs to small indie DJs. But we have our own music festival.
The idea, and this was we did it online, so it was not a festival for the time of it's confining, but it's not confining for sure.
Call it quarantine.
So when we are all closed at home, what we created was in all our social media pages of Selina, we created an online music. So every hour someone DJ played from their home, so it was all done. But that's an idea. That's something that it's on the
pipeline.
and that, because we want to be broader than hospitality. I think one day I told this, I don't know if it's right, but we want to be the art rock of the hospitality, not because of the art rock, but because art rock inspires much more than a restaurant. It inspires the celebration of rock, and we want to be the celebration of connection, the celebration of local content, of local creativity. That's why, for example, in any Selina, if you open a Selina in anywhere in the world, you are obliged to have art inside the property that comes from local artists. It needs to have local creativity there. So I think that we are not the art celebrating rock, but we are celebrating connections through arts, through music, through culture. And I think that could be, in fact, the future after COVID. And with the vaccine, we are seeing that it's coming. I hope it's coming because if the sooner it comes, I think there's a light on the end of the tunnel for the hospitality, I think, in Portugal, and there's a good light if we are able to survive. Not certain, I don't want to say survive, but to thrive under under these constrained dates.
And it's important as well to say, like, the way we do
That's
the co-branding, and the way we do co-branding partnerships sometimes can drive to a music festival. So the same way I did a partnership with Levi's, and the same way I did a partnership with Sal. It was one of the last partnerships we did with the Surf at Lisbon, for example, and with Doc Lisboa or with a music festival. We can do the same model. Me and Manel, after the COVID, we were having several conversations. We wanted to participate and be one of the main sponsors of Surf Out, for example, that is in I think is in Estoril now. And we wanted to be one of the face and have, of course, one corner of Selina, almost a lounge. And this can happen, of course, with time, with the right partner and as well an investor, because we need money. Of course, these kind of projects can happen very easily for us. No, 100%.
Okay, thank you.
I have more questions, but please don't be shy and show yourselves and do some questions and make some questions also to Manuel and Frederico. Meanwhile, I can do some. Can I do some questions? Yeah, I will ask you if your audience target is mostly young people. Have you seen some change on this target for these last times or during the pandemic?
Totally. And that's what I was saying on the slide of the community when saying this 25 to 45, the forever 29, the creatives. And one thing that we are saying is that was on the past where we know that digital nomads, the travelers, the experience seekers are mostly from 25 to 45. But what in fact we are seeing, and with the remote work, because people now, even my father can work remotely, is that they are using this product. So I think probably Fred can confirm, but there has been an age increase on it. And what is even really funny is you can find in any Selina, and we found, for example, I'm now in Porto, of course not now, but really older couples, like we already had 60, 65 years searching for something that is a different experience, have the quality of a room. So our private rooms are, in fact, I really believe are good quality. But I think that we come to understand that the age that we defined has been increasing. And even we now understanding that it's not a matter of age, it's much more a matter of what you're looking for. Of course, you always look for the comfort, but you want to comfort and be much be quiet, or do you want to comfort and talk and go to the bar and drink a glass of wine and talk with the person who is next to you that probably it's local. So I think that what we came to know, it's the age is much older and it's become much older. And mostly because of the remote work and finding places.
100%. And the comfort, it's important as well as to say that comfort is not only regarding asset, it's regarding as well of the eyes, what we see, the design, for example. I work, for example, my first work was in Hotel de Lapa, and it was amazing. The comfort, I can tell it's amazing. But regarding design, it wasn't that comfortable. And I know for a fact that a lot of people, and there's plenty of studies. It's as well the way the hotel presents itself to the final consumer, to our guests, it's not welcoming, and people like to feel welcoming and feeling that we enter. And this I think happens with everyone when we go to a store that we think we cannot consume in that store. We don't feel welcoming because we believe that pricing is everything. And this is what happens in Selina. And something that we say in Selina is we can receive as a guest from Silicon Valley, for example, that works for Google and is making thousands of dollars per year, and we can receive as well the backpacker. So here it's more regarding the spirit of our guests instead of the age. Of course, we need to, when we do segmentation maps, of course we need to put an age. That's mandatory, but it's more regarding the spirit. My mom is 50 years old, but I don't see my mom on Ritz. I see my mom on Selina, for example. But of course, there's people like my mom that probably they prefer to be on Ritz. So it's pricing for us, and even for the general company, pricing for us is not the issue. What we try to capitalize people is not regarding pricing, is not regarding the star, it's not regarding category, it's more regarding what we can offer as extra to those people that are looking for something very disruptive, something that it's not traditional hospitality, something that will give them a meaningful experience and something to remember, essentially. So age for us, it's very, we analyze it, but it's not something that it's on in our segmentations maps, and that's something that we look very keen on.
I have an image really interesting on my mind. One day I was here in Singapore in a bar, And that's, I think that's Selina. And there was a couple from the UK. They had like 68, 70 years old, and they were with two backpackers that they met here, and they were discussing about traveling. I thought, this is the beauty of Selena. It's even whatever age you are, and they're sharing this experience. So they were sharing that they've been in Latam, and he was like, I think it's something that's kept really on my mind, to have these people exchanging experience, even though they are much older than this 23 years old backpacker discovering Europe. And I think that's like what Selena defends, and what we really believe that happens here inside of each location.
Great. I'm starting to be comfortable because you have.
Sergio, I have a tentative reservation for you for the Nomad co-living.
Great. Now we have Gile that asked for the word. Gile is from our Nova Hospitality Club. Gile, go ahead.
Hi. We just founded this hospitality club about last week. We were accepted. First of all, thanks to both Manuela and Federico for the great talk. I would just like to ask if you have any plans to expand to like other markets, countries in the near future. Is that planned in the current situation? Thank you.
Gila, that's the question. That's the question that we always have. Of course, we are constantly growing. Sometimes we are trying of growing because, as you can imagine, we are a startup. So growth for us, it's very important. Every startup growth is one of the main cores of a startup. So growth for us is very important. We have several properties in Europe that are going to open, I think, still this year, and Manel can respond in a proper way. But yes, growth for us is very important.
So exactly, and just for you to know, so more to your numbers. So even in the middle of this crisis, we opened last month the second property in Miami. We opened Isla Mujeres. He's near Cancun. It's a really beautiful island. We're going to open Austria, Bad Gastein, near Salzburg in 4 weeks. We're going to open Copacabana. It's the second one in Rio. So that's that. So the new country they're going to open, sorry, it's also, you asked the new country. So the new countries will be Austria. It will be Germany in Berlin probably next year, and most sure next year. And there are prospects to go to Spain, probably also next year. But it's what Fred told. We always need to find an investor. So this always comes to knock at the door of invest. First, finding properties, and then knocking at the investor's door. So at the moment, Austria is the one that is confirmed and will open in 3 weeks. But the tendency is we need to grow, because you can see, like, when we grow, we have investment money. So we always need this to continue the wheel at the moment, because we are still a startup. So we still depend of finance, of investment in this case.
And even before COVID, we were planning to open even more locations in Portugal. So as you can imagine, like, growth for us, it's our DNA, and that's why Selina as well started. It was because of the growth.
So we have several questions here in the chat. How you apply Selina in food and beverage, from Jose Cala? Thank you.
So Jose, I have a huge know-how on F&B. I started as an F&B in an F&B department, and I said no, no more. The F&B department in Selina, it's still very raw, and I'm being very, probably Manel will kill me, but I'm being very traditional. But Selina regarding F&B is very raw. What we did this year, and it went very well, we started as well, as I told you before, partnerships for us and co-branding for us, it's very important. It gives a boost to the brand, especially to brands like ours that are very visual and very to millennials. Millennials love to see two brands cooperating with each other. And what we did this summer, we did a partnership with a restaurant that it's near your university in Carcavelos. It's Paco Bigodes. It's a Mexican restaurant in Estoril. And what we did was we grabbed them from Estoril, of course, and then of course we started the partnership alignment and compliance. And they opened a pop-up restaurant during the summer. They opened the restaurant in Mil Fontes. After that successful partnership, the company started to shift. So the company global-wise started as well to incentivize us, sales and marketing, and the experience department to collect more partners to do this kind of management agreement. This is a management agreement, for example. And me and Manel, we started as well to tackle other big players in Portugal for our hotels. We spoke with Platform. We spoke as well with Las Ficheras in Caixo. We spoke we spoke with Go Natural, for example, as well, and from there it's still on like the way we like to say in Portuguese, in Águas de Bacalhau. But it's regarding the F&B, we are still very raw. The F&B department in any single hotel, it's the hardest to manage regarding costs, and because we don't have a huge, still because of the COVID, especially because of the we don't have a huge operation to to deliver the standard as an F&B outlet. Because of the cost, it's very hard to manage, and if it's not proper cost, it can give you a hard time manage the hotel. So we are still looking for different key partners to work with us, or we are going to manage ourselves our rest, which is happening right now, but we still don't know if it's going to actually happen in Portugal, or for the next year we're going to grab a partner to do this kind of service for us, which in my opinion it's the model that I like, but that's another talk.
We have another question as well. So what are the top 5 countries staying in the Selina in Portugal, from Pilar?
It changes from property to property, and we need to exclude now the COVID times. We know that we had UK, Brazil, Spain, USA. It's now top. I think it came top 5, right, Fred?
Yeah. So feeder market was essentially what Manel said. So our feeder market essentially a lot of people from the US, not this year, of course. Brazil, Spain, of course, they are not our neighbors. We have a lot of French people, a lot of Belgians as well. But our main 3, I can give you the 3 top ones. It's Brazilian, US, and Spain.
Thank you. You have some more questions to Manuel and Federico? I have one. How do you feel this the balance between, and I know that you're seeing different kind of technologies, and most of your target is young as well, and is probably most open to digitalization. How do you see the balance between service by people and service by technology?
I'm very traditional regarding that. Even if I'm only 27 years old, I think when people go and pay for accommodation or pay to go for a hotel, it's regarding the experience. So it's regarding having a host. It's for me, it's mandatory. So for me, what they did with Sana, with Epic, and it's not Epic, it's Evolution, right? It's Evolution. For example, where they have automated check-ins. For me, it's a no. Of course, you always need to have a host in person to host people and drive people to do the check-in on the machine, essentially. I'm a huge, I defend the contact. And that's why one thing that we, Selina, did, of course, we use the mask all the time, but we don't have a division between us and the guests. We have, of course, we have in every single property that we have signage saying to people that to stay 2 meters away from the front desk, but we never establish like something to divide us from the client. Hospitality is it's people connection, and if we start to establish deviation from what it's connection with the guests, that in my opinion, that's not hospitality anymore. It's just in providing a service. And of course, what we want to do with our guests is always providing an extra effort, and of course, being there for them, responding to them. This is a very traditional, probably like very mind narrow, but in hospitality, like the concierge that you usually have in big hotels, it's something that very important for us, and it's something that's experience, for example, in our hotels provide to our guests. So having that contact, of course, taking care of our guests. So following all the compliance regarding the DGS is very important for us, 100%. But of course, maintaining that personal contact with our guests, it's very important. So maintain the normal check-in and the normal contact with the receptionists and front desk people with our guests. It's 100% mandatory.
I have a question. Would you see Selina going for other business lines, if you can call it. So you talked about the concerts and the festivals and etc. But I would say like different types of targets, like you were talking about elderly. So probably elderly care, which is like a hot topic because we are all getting older for a lot of time. Do you see yourself investing in different types of like these targets, if you can call, or not?
We already invest on them, meaning that, as you can imagine, and something that is very funny, something that someone told me 2 days ago is one of our strategies for 2021 is to target, for example, young people that work for huge consultant companies, for KPMG and all the big ones. Why? Because these people, they work a lot, they always want to go on holidays, and they actually like our concepts because they are our target market. We have several accounts from corporate. We work with EDP. We start negotiations as well with VDA, the Vieira de Almeida lawyers. So we work with those people because these people, those companies, those corporate companies, even in Portugal, they are doing the shift for something different. For something that has a meaning. It's not only a hotel. They want a meaning on being in that hotel. We work with Huawei this summer as well. So we work with very corporate Portuguese companies and international companies, and we want to continue to work with them 100%.
I have one provocative question.
Yeah.
Why do? Yeah, because when we prepared this talk, I heard you talking twice about being a startup, and you call yourselves startup. Explain us that positioning. Is that positioning? Is that attitude?
No.
Or that's
Sergio,
why do you
me
use
and
that?
I would say it's totally an attitude. Because yesterday I was in a conference and I was talking with people from Porto and from Sonai Capital, and they were, because I was saying we did this and we did this, and we were just laughing because in fact we did it because we are a startup, because we don't need, there's no layers of hierarchy. If I want to do, as said, if Fred wants he wants to do weekly stays, if you want to do change the model for monthly stays, he just goes. He doesn't have like a hierarchy where it needs to be approved by the board. So this quickness allows these attitudes to evolve, I think, but it's normal. It's always with the startups. And when you grow and you, in fact, are a corporate company, that's different. We're not saying it's better or not, because then I would say that the startup has a lot of, as you know, the processes are not well fitted. We do it really quick. So I think when we say we are a startup, it's much a matter of attitudes in the good way, and also to be transparent with all of you, also in a bad way, and probably have friends that work in startup in the way that usually operations fail, and operations is hospitality, Martin, Sergio, and all of you are crucial, and there are some in fact things, and Fred that comes from hospitality, it's really good because Fred has a lot of background in hospitality. I have a lot of background in marketing, and Fred is in fact the operations freak. So if something fails, if there's a glass, it's something that for him, and for a startup, sometimes you lose that bit of perfection that for the hospitality lovers and who
Meda knows when Fred is stressed, right, Meda?
Oh my God, yes. That's that's one of the most challenging tasks in my work when you're stressed.
Yeah, so for us, Sergio, for us, it's as Manel told like perfectly. It's a matter of attitudes. If we want to call it as a unicorn, not a startup anymore, because we can say that we are a unicorn company now, not a proper startup, but we still are, because the processes are not quite defined. We are very small for a huge responsibility. We run, and yeah, and I think that's this, and me and Manel and even Meda here, we wanted to start to do shit for a non-startup company, because if you guys ever work in a startup, it's very demanding on it's a lot of passion, it's a lot of running, it's a lot of taking decisions at the moment. It's always short term and never long term. Sometimes you start your day thinking I'm going to this plan, and you end your day doing 100 plans, and it is an amazing sensation because you own a lot of projects, and for young people like us and even like you, it's rewarding to start something and finish that project. but can be very, 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 very tiring, especially merging hospitality with startup. It's a Nagasaki bomb, essentially, but in a good way. In a good way.
More questions?
Thank you. More questions?
May I ask one question in regards to the
Yes,
subject?
Marta.
Okay,
So-
Marta, go ahead.
Who do you report to? I believe that Fred reports to Manuel somehow, although in a similar
I
hierarchy.
used to. I used to.
I used to now I'm joking. So regarding hierarchy, so Fred does report to our head of country. Okay, so we have a country manager, so that's what he represents, and then what I now it's lacking me the words. I report, sorry, to the VP of marketing. Okay, so our again startup, our hierarchy is not as well designed. So you have a global marketing team, okay, and then you have marketing people everywhere in the location. But sometimes there's not a direct hierarchy because each country are autonomous. So Fred reports to the head of country, and then of course I can create whatever, but I will work with Fred if I build a global campaign. For example, Black Friday. I need to connect with all the countries and say, we are going to do this, assure with rates that everything is okay. So we work much more hand to hand, at much more hierarchy, because yes, it would make sense that sales and marketing manager Portugal and then the global marketing project manager, it would be sense that there was an hierarchy, but there isn't. So we work more in Fred adapts, or even Fred has probably an idea, he already passed. So I have an idea to do something for Portugal. What can we do in terms of e-commerce? So usually we work hand to hand. He only works with Portugal, and I work with all the countries that we have.
And that works the same for the other departments, like rooms or F&B or whatever it's called.
Yes. So we are a very flat org chart. Of course, we have an org chart, but it's regarding reporting. It's very flat. Okay. So for example, I sometimes even I report to Meta, and this is very important to say. Meta does operations. It's an operations supervisor. Sometimes I need of course to report to Meta, because Meta needs to take some decisions regarding what it's supposed to do operational wise, and sometimes Meta reports to me as well regarding a client-led approach or an opportunity approach regarding sales and marketing. I used to report to Manel because Manel used to be my director. Now I don't. Manel is not my director anymore, so he passed to the global team and he's doing more global marketing, more digital global marketing. And it's very important to say as well, sales and marketing in hotels are not the same department as you go for a traditional company. Okay. And I think you will learn more about what is the sales and marketing role in a hotel when you finish as well the masters. So the way I report, of course, to the head of country. Okay, we have someone representing our country, and that person has someone on top of him called the head of region, which is the region of Europe. And my head of country reports to head of region. Sometimes I need as well to report for my head of region regarding some subjects. But usually the one that defends me is my head of country.
Okay, thank you. And I have also a small question. Like you define yourself as a platform. In the middle of that, are you like a hotel, a hostel, or both, or nothing?
So according to law, we are a hostel, but we hate that word. So commercial wise, we are a hotel.
Yeah, but in fact we are not commercial wise. So in fact, in register we are a hostel, but we when a journalist said in a news article saying that Selina has the comfort of an hotel and the community experience of an hostel, and I never forget that. So I usually say that beautiful sentence.
But according
we
to
also say hotel.
legislation, yes, according to legislation, we are alojamento local, and of course we are a hostel. Commercial wise, we don't sell ourselves as a hostel. We sell ourselves as a hotel because we can say we are a more high end hostel. But according to the law, we are a hostel. Okay.
Okay.
To the Portuguese law.
The Portuguese law. Exactly.
Portuguese law, Frederico. Yes.
But in other countries, then you will also be a hostel in other countries.
Depends. That depends. Some countries, yes. For example, in the US, no, we are full hotels in the USA.
Thank you very much for the questions, Marta.
No worries. Thank you for answering.
You have more questions,
We
please?
talk a lot, me and Fred.
No, that's great.
That's why we get along so well when we work together.
We still work together. We still work together.
Yes, they are the best combination.
Yeah, come on, you know.
Meda is the proof.
Yes.
Do you have more questions?
One more question.
Meda, it's also an opportunity.
Yeah.
You have a question for both at the same time.
I have one question. With all these changes of market and consumers changing their priorities and their aims, it's normal that traditional players look at your concept, your roadmap as an opportunity.
100%.
Some of them are already targeting co-living and so on.
100%.
So how do you see traditional players jumping in your business?
Me and Manel, we scream every single time we see some. I remember the first time we saw Sheraton, for example, doing the long-term stays in offices. Me and Manel, we started to shout with each other. What they are doing? They are copying us. They are copying us. And because they have because they have a huge platform and way more people working with them, the impact is completely different. But we know for a fact, and me and Manel, we are very proud of that. We started and we involved it first. We were the first ones to do it, and that's undeniable. At least in Portugal, we don't know in other countries.
But also an important thing is that you don't need to do so much investment on changing, for instance, rooms into offices or changing the public areas, because you've already done that concept by the beginning. No,
100%.
Great. Any more questions, guys?
Any more?
Let me tell you that from the times we talked, it was the more reactive audience I had. Usually no one has questions, so that's amazing. This is a good class. Usually they have one question. We have a lot.
And they are warming up. If we can invite you for our May session, and you will suffer there.
And it's online, Manuel, and it's online.
Yeah, if it was on campus, it would be harder, even harder. Okay, so I think time's up, is it?
Yes.
Okay.
It has been 1 hour, very, very interesting 1 hour, and thank you very much for your availability. We were great.
No, we are the ones very thankful to be here. It's an amazing opportunity. It was amazing to meet all of you, and yes, and please reach to me. Come to Selina, reach to me, reach to Manel.
Yeah, if you need something.
You know, just reach to us essentially. And if you ever want to be at Selina, just please bother Meda, and Meda will do all the reservations for you.
Meda,
yes,
the end is about you.
I'm waiting for everyone.
Meda is amazing. She's amazing.
Meda is amazing. Meda is amazing, essentially amazing. And
putting Lisbon a really cool hotel, a really cool.
Well,
okay.
Thank you very much.
Guys, you should all come and visit.
For sure, Meda. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
I think it was an amazing discussion.
Yeah.
Very funny and very relaxed, and I think that's the only way of looking at the challenges as we have as a group. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.